This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rankem. I'm the host, Big B, along with my host halfway around the world, Mr. Primus, Tim Hendricks. How you doing?
I'm good, but I'm confused. Where did our disclaimer go?
I didn't play it this week.
Oh, so it's your fault. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. Good.
Oh.
Good.
So, we got a football season right around the corner, and if you watch the games this week, you saw that the Packers only scored 2 points. I know it's preseason, but so me and Tim are going to do some morning tailgate stuff, rankings of offensive running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, quarterbacks, our top 5 going into the 2024 season. But with that being said, Tim, what are you looking forward to into the football season? I know we're going to dive into a little morning tailgate here, but what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking for that breakout player, be it a rookie, be it a second-year guy, anything along those lines. Seeing what Caleb Williams can do in Chicago, or after yesterday, after the coach of the Commanders had named Jaden Daniels, if Daniels could be better than Howell or Taylor Heineke, or I also see what's going to be the team that's going to break out like the Houston Texans. Who's going to be that shocking team? Because we didn't expect the Houston Texans, and then we're going to. I'm looking to see if who can replace the Chiefs. Who's going to be able to punch the Chiefs in the mouth, because we know they need it.
Yep. No, I'm with you. I mean, can Caleb Williams live up to the hype? I think the Bears did well in the draft. They took Williams. They came back and got the receiver. See what the Vikings do without Kirk Cousins. See what the Atlanta does with Kirk Cousins. See if we get Aaron Rodgers to play more than 30 seconds in the game this year. There's a lot of old faces and new places. Derrick Henry in Baltimore. How is that going to help Baltimore out? But any early Super Bowl predictions there you got?
I'd like to say San Francisco versus Kansas City, but I think we've seen it. Yep. 3 times, at least twice. This will be the 3rd time.
Yeah.
But I want to see. What I'd like to see is a team that has never been to the Super Bowl go to the Super Bowl. We're talking along the lines of like Detroit, Cleveland, or a team that has never won a Super Bowl, like your Vikings or the Buffalo Bills or any of those other teams that can make that shot at the Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah, for me, I mean, granted, I always throw out there jokingly. I think one year I was really serious about it, but this year I don't think it will happen. But I always throw out there Minnesota versus Buffalo because it has to go 0-4, 0-4. Somebody's got to win. But honestly, this year I'm going to go out on a prediction. And Chris, when you get this tape and want to watch it, one time we're at the 5-minute mark, I'm going Houston and the Lions in the Super Bowl this year. I'm going to go Houston Lions. So that's my early prediction. I'm sticking to it. So with that being said, let's get into the AFC running backs. Top 5 running backs going into the 2024 season. Honestly, well, I'll go 3. I'll say we'll have 3 of the same.
All right, I like your 3.
All right, well, you
I
kick
think
it
we could
off.
see. To be honest, I think all 8 of these could be threes.
Yeah, that's true too. I was like, oh, 8. We only did 5, but you meant both sides.
Right, we did 5. Wait, what did I miss?
You
Oh,
said
5, top 5. Okay.
you said 8. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
8, yeah,
8
8 categories.
categories. Okay,
8
I get what
categories.
you're saying. You had me throwing for a loop there. See, it's early.
And then you had me thrown for the loop.
All right.
My number 5. You kind of brought him up. You brought up this team, but you need my number 5 to make sure he plays more than 30 seconds in a season. I think I'm still remember as Robert Saleh is still the head coach in New York with the Jets. I believe he is. I stopped doing homework as soon as the Super Bowl's done. As soon as I stopped homework. But I think in order for Aaron Rodgers to stay on his feet a lot longer during the season, I think this guy needs to be the catalyst to keep it going, and I think he's due for a huge breakout season. My number 5 is the New York Jets running back Breece Hall.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you're right. I mean, outside of the line, I mean, definitely, yeah, Rodgers is going to have to rely on him. My number 5, we're going to stay in. Nope. I'm trying to think if we're staying in that division. I'm trying to think. Yeah, getting the homework going. But my number 5 definitely will need to help Trevor Lawrence and his team takes the pressure off of Lawrence. My number 5 is Travis Etienne of Jacksonville. All right, your number 4.
My number 4 is a guy that's he's leaving a team that was pretty much up until last year, which was pretty much the perennial team that was the team to go up against against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, but we all know what happened last year. And then you let this guy go. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I hated this guy coming out of Oklahoma. Absolutely hated him. And then you send him to a team, probably one of the youngest teams in the NFL, with one of the youngest quarterbacks in the NFL, guy who just won the Rookie of the Year. Then you put him in an offensive huddle with Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and a guy who's probably going to be a perennial running back. My number 4 is the Houston Texans running back Joe Mixon.
Yeah. My number 4, you talk about young offense. They got probably 3 of the top 5 fastest receivers in the league. You got a quarterback that you need to stay upright because one more concussion, you don't know where he's going to be at. But my number 4 is Devon Achane from the Dolphins. Your number 3.
My number 3, again, we're going back to the whole the skill players on offense for this team is young, extremely young. You get a quarterback that didn't play all of last season, a young quarterback. Another guy who needs to stay upright. He needs to keep his head keep his head about him and do smart things. Again, he's in an offense with Anthony Richardson and with if I don't know my own team, this is in trouble. Michael Pittman Jr. You got Adonai Mitchell. You got Jelani Woods. You've got the guy you're hoping for to come out of nowhere, Alex Pierce. And we got Josh Downs. But this guy is the star of that offense, and he gets to run behind probably a top 5 offensive line in the NFL, let alone just the AFC. My number 3 is the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, I loved his work in Home Improvement. I loved it. Well, the phrase that pays being a football show, we call it sniping, but we'll call it intercepting today. Tim got me at number 4. His number 4, Joe Mixon. That Houston team, I'll have to do some research because they might put up some major points this year if they stay healthy. Your number 2.
My number 2 is a guy I hope that bounces back huge. So, when we draft on Wednesday, that I might be a little spoiler that I might take this guy in the third round if he's sitting there. But he got hurt early last year, and another reason why their quarterback couldn't keep. But then again, their quarterback, if you blew in his ear, his shoulder separated. But they got talent too. It's just amazing how Deshaun Watson can't do anything with that offense. And you've got Amari Cooper and my number 2, the running back for the Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's the team that we kind of talking behind the scenes. What are they going to do without Mixon there now?
No, he was in Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right. He was in Cincinnati. I'm sorry. Nick Chubb, and who was the other one? It was Nick Chubb and
I can't remember.
Because they're both not there now, I don't think.
No, Nick Chubb is still in Cleveland.
Yeah, Nick Chubb is, but the other one is
who? No, the other one went to.
Somebody will tell us.
Somebody will.
So my number 2, I believe he was a 6th round pick last year. Came out of nowhere. You talk about highlight players and see who comes out of nowhere. This guy did, and he's going to help Patty Mahomes and that offense keep rolling. That's Isaiah Pacheco.
I thought about Pacheco. I really
Your
did.
number. Oh well, we're not getting 3, but you're number 1.
No, we're not getting 3. That's a guarantee. I'm almost afraid we may not get 2 at this point. When you think of the Tennessee Titans, you think of a staple. You think of the king himself, and I'm not talking about LeBron James, because LeBron James would be eating turf every week in the NFL. But to go from how would you like to be? How would you like to go to a place where you're going to have basically the load? You're not going to have that much load to carry because you've got the quarterback and Lamar Jackson. You've got such a weapon. This is a team that could play in the AFC Championship, if not Super Bowl. And now you add Derrick Henry. I think it's going to be massive. But my number 1 is the new Baltimore Ravens head coach. Yeah, the running back and the running backs coach at this point, Derrick Henry.
Yep, that is my number 1. Derrick Henry going to Baltimore. Definitely one of the old faces, new places that I'll be watching this year. Because, like you said, I mean, he doesn't have to run the ball 20 times because Lamar's going to take a few of those carries, So, and he can still catch the ball in the backfield. He's definitely a dual threat. So that just amps them up. So
makes me happy that he's out of the AFC South.
Yeah. All right. So let's go over to the NFC running backs. So this one, I don't know. I had a little trouble finding some. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go 2, I think.
I like your 2.
All right. My number 5, a team that I think a lot of people are going to watch just because they want to see what their quarterback does, since it's a new quarterback and Kirk Cousins there. But if Kurt does what he did here and can stay healthy, this running back is going to have a good year. Bijan Robinson. So
like that one.
All right. You're number 5.
My number 5, I am going to stay in the same division.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to remember if he was suspended for a couple games last year at the beginning of the season, and it really showed in New Orleans. You have such a running back like my number 5, and you lean in on a quarterback like Derek Carr.
You couldn't even say that with a straight face.
Oh, I can't because I'm thinking, and I guarantee you, if James is watching this, James will be laughing with me. But you saw how they actually started getting better after his suspension was up, and it's proof to this guy. And I'm not going Taysom Hill. No, that'd be stupid. My number 5 is the New Orleans Saints running back, number 41 in your playbook, number 1 in your heart, Alvin Kamara.
Well, let's start with the interception on this one. My number 4 is your number 5, Alvin Kamara, like you said. Another diverse running back that can catch out of the backfield. And I believe he was suspended for a couple games, and it shows. Every time he misses it, he just he's one of those guys that for some reason, every time he's on the field, it's like, okay, is he going to get 20 yards or is he going to get 200 yards with 7 touchdowns, like he did against Minnesota a couple years ago. So, all right, you're number 4.
My number 4 is I think might be a little. It'll come out of left field for you when I saw this guy and I'm thinking I think the only reason why Geno Smith wasn't completely destroyed last year was because he could hand the ball off to his running back, and this guy's becoming I think he's becoming a powerful running back, and he's in such a difficult division in the NFC West when you got to face the Rams defense twice a year. You got to face that 49ers defense twice a year. But I think he does well against those guys. My number 4 is the running back for the Seattle Seahawks, Kenneth Walker III.
That's a good one. My number 3, another guy that I will see twice a year. I know you spoke to James, who's a Raiders fan. I won't see him no more. But I think him going to the Packers is going to be just a big helping of relief there. And that's one, Josh Jacobs.
I like that one.
Number 3.
My number 3. This is we keep coming back, like Josh Jacobs is the old face in new place. Well, my old face in a new place, and you've got a lot of guts going to your own division to go to somebody in your own division, and he's going to play with a quarterback better than the quarterback that he had in New York, and now he's going to go against with an offensive line that by itself could probably be a Pro Bowl offensive line in any friggin' country. It's crazy, and this guy is just going to be a stud. He goes back to where he played college at Penn State. Now he goes to Philadelphia. My number 3 is the guy I wish we would have gotten way back then, and then we got Jonathan Taylor. So I'm not really arguing. But my number 3 is the Philadelphia running back Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that kid stays healthy, man. That Eagles offense is just going to be just a nightmare. My number 2, stayed in my division, running back last year that got his feet wet a little bit. I think he's going to get more. And when this team fully comes to potential and gets that experience, like I said, they're my prediction to go to the Super Bowl. Detroit Tigers, yeah. The Detroit Lions running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. You're number 2.
My sister's going to be so upset by that not because of you, because of me. But my number 2, well, we've got a new phrase today, I guess, for the pick 6, I guess.
The pick 6.
My number 2 is your number. I'm staying in your division, by the way.
Okay.
Staying in the division, same division as Jahmyr Gibbs, and
So
my number 2 is your number 4.
3.
Josh Jacobs.
Yep. Yeah, my number 1.
The one we should have went 3 on. The one that we should have went 3 on, we're going to get 3 on.
Yeah, exactly. My number 1, this guy got traded mid-season 2 years ago, and everybody was in shock. Went to a team that, if I'm the quarterback of this team, I'm taking the league minimum to keep this team around because these guys are good, and he's a dual threat. He's another guy that, every time he puts on the pads, it's like, okay, is he going to get me 20 yards and a touchdown, or is he going to get me 200 yards and 3-4 touchdowns? And how many are coming out of the receiving? San Francisco's running back slash receiver slash I could do whatever I want. CMC.
Yeah, well, it's another pick six because my number one is your number one. When you brought these things up, Christian McCaffrey was the number one person on my list.
Oh yeah, McCaffrey and Henry both were number one. You know, so all right, so we got three. So let's go to the AFC tight ends, which is always a hit or miss because you just never know what tight ends are going to show up on week to week. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go 2.
I think 2.
All right.
I think 2.
Okay, I gotta look at something quick here because I thought I wrote somebody down here. But go ahead.
All right, my number 5. In order for Trevor Lawrence to succeed further in his progress to making this team making the Jaguars a perennial AFC championship contender, he needs to look towards this tight end. I like this kid. I think this kid is good. He scared me. I see this guy twice a year, so he scares me a lot more than he should. And Trevor Lawrence should really be smart to be looking towards him a lot more. My number 5 is the tight end from Jacksonville, Evan Ingram.
All right, well, let's start it off right away. Number 5 for 5. Ingram. And that's one thing with young quarterbacks. I think they got to look at their tight ends and the slot guys. And, everybody loves a pretty ball, deep ball. I get it. But, you gotta make your statement down, especially since they got away from the running game a lot. Your tight ends and your running backs on the backfield are that short game. So, yeah, Ingram. You're number 4.
My number 4, I didn't think I'd have this many Cleveland Browns on my list, but here we are. I think this is the tight end should be quarterback's best friend. I think that's why Kansas City succeeds so well because Mahomes trusts Kelsey with everything. But I think Deshaun Watson needs to trust, or whoever's quarterbacking the Cleveland Browns from week to week, needs to really look at this kid. This kid could be a Pro Bowler. He's got the potential to become a Pro Bowler, and if whenever Kelsey retires, he's got the possibility of becoming the best tight end in the AFC. My number 4 is the tight end for the Cleveland Browns, David Njoku.
Okay. I just realized I screwed up here.
Who'd you put in the AFC?
No, I put double tight ends down. Okay, so my number 4, you talk about tight ends that need to be your best friend, and now that Stephon Diggs is gone, in Buffalo, this guy has to be your best friend, and Josh Allen needs to rely on him more. I know the guy can run, but you got to get him the ball, and that is Dalton Kincaid. So you're number 3.
My number 3. I think this guy all of a sudden. I swear to God, we played this team last year and we beat them, and I'm still not sure how we beat this team. But this is a guy who takes the pressure off probably the best mobile quarterback in the NFL right now. And this is another one that what happened?
Nothing.
I'm just watching the notifications over my phone. But this guy's legitimately scary. This guy is absolutely Jesus. You guys get notifications. And I think he got hurt late in the season. Like, I can't quite remember, but My number 3 is the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, Mark Andrews.
Anybody watching, our notifications are going off because we're setting up our fantasy draft tonight. The guy that's running it is
Tomorrow night. It's for tomorrow night.
right. Yeah. Okay, so my number 3, your number 4, because I accidentally put Evan Ingram down, and I wanted the Browns tight end. So I did have a Cleveland guy, Njoku.
Holy smokes! Wait a minute. That's 1, 2. That's 2. Who did I miss? Oh, okay. Never mind. I got it. I'm thinking. Okay,
We've had 2 so far. You're on your number 2.
I'm on my number 2, so we've had 2. So basically, we've had Njoku and Ingram. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so my number 2. Good Lord. And this is going crazy. My number 2, well, it's a pick 6 because, and I thought of this guy right away. This guy is going to replace Travis Kelce as the best tight end in the league at one point. He's right now 1A, 1B is pretty much sewn up, but your 2, Dalton Kincaid.
All right, so I have him at number 4. My number 2, we're going to go with the phrase that pays with another pick 6, and that's Baltimore Ravens. And yes, he is a scary guy. I do think he got injured late last year, but and now you put Henry back there, another guy they don't have to rely on much, but they should. Mark Andrews. All right.
Are we going to do it? Are we at this point? Are we legitimately?
Well, you're the one. You're the one that's going to tell me. Are we going to do it? Are we going 5 for 5?
Are we going 5 for 5? This isn't Arby's, but we're going 5 for 5. I have this feeling because right now I'd have to have my head examined if I didn't put this guy on there. I kind of alluded to him before with David Njoku and a little bit there with Dalton Kincaid. My number 1 is the tight end from the Kansas City Chiefs, Mr. Taylor Swift himself, Travis Kelce.
Yay.
Yep, the pick 6 goes 5 for 5. Yeah, Travis Kelce. I know Mahomes could do a lot of things if Kelce gets hurt, but I don't think he wants him to. So, Travis Kelce. And that's one that, like you said, your tight end's your best friend, and you alluded to it that Kelce was pretty much the go-to guy for Mahomes. So, yeah. So we got 5 for 5 on that one. I didn't think you pull out Kincaid. I did think so.
I that was just, to be honest, when you AFC, I thought of Dalton Kincaid.
Oh yeah,
almost right after Kelce. It was that quick.
So, all right. So let's go to the AFC tight ends.
2, 3, maybe 4. Maybe 4.
I'll go 3. I'll go 3 because
I just can't remember where my number 4 is at now. He got traded. Well, the thing is, he got traded mid-season a couple of years ago.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so I'll go 3. You go 4. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go with the homer pick on this one because.
Thank you. You've just answered me. At this point, you've just answered my question.
Because TJ Hawkinson is going to be hurt for a few weeks. So
that's not my question. That's the wrong question. Thank you, though. You did answer my question, though.
But my number 5 is his replacement. And with the new quarterback, Justin Jefferson, the status of Jordan Addison still up there, new running game, I think our tight end position, and when Hawkinson comes back, he's going to be a big factor in it, too. So this might just be a tight end collective Minnesota Vikings, but Robert Tanya is going to have to take care of that.
The former Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, he's going to have to take over the big load there. So, you're number 5.
Golly, how long is Hawkinson out for?
They're saying mid-season at best. So
great. Might really want to regret my 4th one there. I'm gonna stay in the same division.
All right.
I see. I know they've got a lot of new wide receivers and new quarterback, but I think of the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears were always known for having decent tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this kid, and I hope Mess Around likes him too, because Caleb Williams better look for this guy a lot if he wants to keep his job until like week 7. But my number 5 is the Chicago Bears tight end Cole Kmet.
Okay. No, I like him too. That's a good one. My number 4.
We're not getting 4. I have a feeling.
This one got to stay healthy, still young enough, and that offensive weapons around all the other offensive weapons are still young, except the quarterback's a little older, but the quarterback also can get the ball around to people. And if Kirk Cousins could stay healthy and get the balls to his tight end, Atlanta Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts is going to have a big year this year. So I got my number 4 is Kyle Pitts. All right, your number 4.
My number 4. Well, you kind of answered my question a brief minute ago because of Robert Tonyan. I didn't know that my number 4 was going to be hurt for half the year at best. This sucks. My number 4 is the original starting tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, T.J. Hawkinson.
I'll say half a point on that one because I think it's going to take those two are going to be having big years on that one. Yeah. So, my number 3, I'm going to go to Arizona because I think their quarterback definitely is going to need help with the short game. They can throw the long ball, and they got a good young receiver, a couple of them that can go deep. But with their running back and tight end, I think they got to go short, and that's Trey McBride of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I forgot Trey. I legitimately forgot Trey. We may not get. We're not getting 4, but we may not get 3. Well, we'll get 3. I still think
maybe. Well, you're number 3
because my number 3 is a pick 6.
All right.
My number 3 is your number 4, Kyle Pitts.
All right. So my number 2, we're going to go to the team that has all the weapons, and I'm guessing he's going to be on another. This team's going to be on another list or two on this show. The tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, George Kittle.
Wow, he's number 2.
Yep. You're number 2.
My number 2 is probably the best young tight end in the NFL. And the funny thing is, Detroit traded Hawkinson before they drafted him, which is even funnier. And both of those kids are absolute studs. But this kid came out of nowhere. You want to talk about people that come out of nowhere?
Yep.
This kid came out of nowhere. Funny thing is, he's got the last name of the same guy that got traded from Milwaukee from the Brewers to the Cleveland Indians for CC Sabathia. Yep. That's not Matt Laporta, but my number 2 is the tight end for Detroit, the Sam Laporta.
Well, the phrase that pays, the pick 6 today. I got Sam Laporta number 1. I was like, wait, I'm off. But yeah, Sam Laporta number 1. That Lions skill positions with Gibbs, Laporta, and whenever
I'm on saying
the Hendon Hooker gets in, that Lions team is going to be scared for years to come if they can keep that offensive line up afloat. So you're number 1.
My number 1 is the pick 6. It's the phrase that pays. You have him at number 1. I have him at number 1. George Kittle. You want to talk about a crazy tight end? I swear, Travis Kelce and George Kittle are cut from the same cloth. They're both mentally challenged, but they're in the best ways possible.
Yep. So, yeah. So, all right. So now we're getting into the fun positions here. We're getting into the wide receivers and the quarterbacks.
This is the set that'll get you hurt.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So let's go AFC wide receivers. I got a set of receivers on the same team, not in the same spot though.
I'm gonna say I don't have a double up.
I got a couple double ups later, but
I've got.
But I will go. I don't think we'll go 5, but I'll go 3. I think we'll go 3.
I think we go. This one might be a little more difficult. I think we go. I think 2.
Okay. All right. Well, let's kick it off.
My number 5. Yeah, my number 2. We're going to start right in the middle. My number 5 is a young wide receiver, another guy who came basically out of nowhere again. And I don't know how many times on Morning Tailgate last week that James Gonzalez, Big Game James, would always bring this guy up every time we talked about the Houston Texans. I think I wasn't expecting it, and I think he's now have a new best friend in CJ Stroud. That kid's a monster. But you put him outside with Tank Dell, and now you've got Stephon Diggs. I think Diggs is going to mentor this kid to make him the superstar that I think he's going to be. Huh?
You don't want Stephon Diggs to mentor this kid.
Hey, that's fine. He plays for Houston. I'm all about that. Let him screw that kid up because we have to see him twice. But my number 5 is the wide receiver from the Houston Texans, Nico Collins.
Well, we'll pick 6 right away. My number 5 is Nico Collins. I don't know what else we can say about this Houston Texas team. Somebody that's watching, please, how many points is the most points scored in the NFL season? Because
I think it was.
It has to be the Rams. It's either the Rams or the Vikings of the early 90s.
I think the Colts are in there too.
Yeah. So you're number 4.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Miami from last year, the way they were playing.
Yeah, it could be Miami.
Because remember, didn't they put up 70 on Denver last year?
The Raiders. Yeah, I think it was Denver. You're right.
Denver.
You're number 4.
My number 4. I don't know if you saw the video of this of training camp. I thought it was brilliant. When your wide receiver and your quarterback are losing their minds with each other, it's brilliant. But I think this kid is going to make sure Aaron Rodgers has his new. I think this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' new Randall Cobb. I think this kid's a stud. Think about what he did with Sam Darnold when he was there, and he became and Zach Wilson. Okay, just by itself, by that, if you can make Zach Wilson kind of look remotely good, you have to be a superstar wide receiver. My number 4 is the wide receiver from the New York Jets, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. Yeah. If they can hook up him and Rodgers, if Rodgers can play more than 30 seconds, but
exactly.
My number 4, he's a stud in his own mind,
mind. There are wide receivers, so it's true.
But if the quarterback for his team can get him the ball and other people around him can help out a little bit, but now that they need to find a new running game, I don't know how well, but so a lot might go on this guy's shoulders. So this is Tennessee Titans, DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, you and Hopkins. Okay. As soon as you said the running game went, I went, oh, he's got my guy. Holy smokes. I wasn't kind of expecting that.
All right. You're number 4.
Well, kind of the same thing kind of be said, except DeAndre Hopkins left Houston. But my guy, a young wide receiver, Heisman Trophy wide receiver.
Okay.
Make sure that's right. Played on the same team as his quarterback in college. I think this kid's a stud. I think this kid. We're going to be talking about this kid for the next 10 years, barring some injury happening. And he's got the perfect last name for a wide receiver. My number 3 is the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver, Jamar Chase.
Yep. So my number 3 is in Houston. I think if he could keep his head in check, he's going to have a phenomenal career, but it just seems like he's been a diva since he was in Minnesota. Then he went to Buffalo. Now he's in Houston. He's going to have one, 3-headed monster, 4-headed monster with the running backs. Like I said, Houston, I don't know what else we can say, but, when you say mentor Nico Collins, I don't know if I want this guy mentoring him unless it's what to do with the routes and stuff. But, Stephon Diggs.
Wow, you went Diggs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna guess that
All right.
one of my guys should be on this list.
You're number
Um,
2?
I'm hoping my number 2. My number 2, you kind of brought up the quarterback trying to keep his head in the game, not getting into that concussion. I think me and a couple other people in one of our group chats had said about he's one concussion away from not finishing the league, but that
Yeah.
it happens. It's a good conversation. But when you're trying to want to race the what the heck is that guy's name? Noah Lyles or some crap, and you don't even know, and you got the nickname of the cheetah. I think you're pretty quick, and you got the hands, and heck, even Patrick Mahomes didn't want you to leave Kansas City. My number 2 is Tyreek Hill.
All right. Well, let's do a pick 6 here. My number 2 is your number 3. Like you said, has the best name for a receiver, Jamar Chase, because a lot of people are chasing him. But Burrow has to stay healthy to have this guy have a good career, or a good season. So you're number 1.
Before we get to my number 1, to answer your original question, the most points scored in a season, was the 2013 Denver Broncos.
Really?
606 points.
Who the heck did Denver have that year?
Peyton Manning.
Wow. Okay.
They had Peyton Manning, Sean Moreno, and Demaryius Thomas.
Okay. Wow. I would never guess that.
I wouldn't have either, because I figured I thought Manning was too old at that point.
Yeah, you're number 1.
My number 1 is a guy who probably should have gotten traded to the Jets, instead of going and went with Aaron Rodgers instead of going to the Las Vegas Raiders. But I think this guy is still head and shoulders. He's one step below my number 1 in the NFC. But when I thought of the AFC, this is the guy I thought of first. My number 1 is a Las Vegas wide receiver from Fresno State, Devontae Adams.
Wow, wow. All right. Well, the pick 6 comes into play again, and it is Tyreek Hill. I mean, I think we could have probably had either one of the wide receivers from Miami at number 1 here.
Jalen Waddle, yeah.
Yeah. So
we had what, 3?
Yeah, we got 3. Yep.
No, we had 2.
No, we got 3.
Well, you had Garrett Wilson.
Collins, Chase,
okay. Yeah. Well, that's right. We started off with it.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the AFC side or NFC side of the receivers. Yeah. I do have a double up on this one.
Oh.
So, but I will say I got a sneaky feeling I'm going to go 4.
Ooh, I was thinking 3. I was thinking 3.
3 is probably a good number, but I think we're going to sneak in a 4th one here.
All right.
So I will start off. I'll start off with my double up right away because one wants to be traded. The other one kind of stays healthy or can stay healthy, but plays all over the place. But, like I said before, if I'm the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, I'm taking the least amount of money to keep this team together.
Exactly.
My number 5 is Ayuk and Deebo Samuel.
So it's kind of but okay. My number 5, I'll get right into it. My number 5 is kind of a semi pick 6 because I had to lateral it to get the pick 6 because I don't have Brandon Ayuk. I have Deebo Samuel.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So we kicked off back to back. We kick off right away. My number 4 is the head of the pack, I guess. Now, I mean, if you take Stanford out of it, because he got his money, he got his payday. And again, if he can stick around with the Lions, I think they're going to be scary. And that's St. Brown of the Lions. You're number 4.
My number 4 is a pick six. My number 4 is not the Bears St. Brown, but it's the Lions St. Brown, Amon St. Brown.
Is this going to be
I have
Nathan Peterman type of game where it's just every time we throw up something, it's a pick six?
a pick six. No, I don't think so. But it all depends on right here. It really does depend on right here.
Ooh.
I think it depends right here.
All right, my number 3 got traded the last year before draft day. I think it was
on draft day. It was on draft day. If it's the guy I'm thinking it is, it's on draft day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think you and Chris are just we're all blown away, but
we were flabbergasted by that.
We went to Philly, and Philly's got a record crew of talent. And we were just wondering why, but the number 1 in Philly, AJ Brown.
All right, well, let's keep adding Nathan Peterman type stats up on the board.
Are you serious?
My number 3 is your number 3, AJ Brown. When you get Trayvon, when you said he got traded on or before draft, I'm like, no flipping way. There's no way that you had the same guy.
All right.
We could be Peterman. At this point, we could be Peterman all the way out at this point.
Because if we hit number 2, we better have hit number 1. My number 2, a team I don't like to root for, but
we're 5 for 5.
Are you serious?
I can tell you right now, we're 5 for 5. And if Bacon ever finds out about this, I deny.
My number 2 is CD Lamb.
Well, go ahead. Let's not have a great fantasy football day, because if we were quarterback at fantasy football, we'd be in the negatives at this point. My number 2 is your number 2, CD Lamb.
If our number 1s are right, which they better be, this is going to be honestly the first time that I can recall that we went. I mean, we've done 5 for 5, but we've not done 5 for 5.
We did 5 for 5 today.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, but we did never have done a 5 for 5 where
we were right on for everyone.
Yeah. James Jetta. I mean, the Vikings are going to go to him. So Justin Jefferson is my number 1. So
go ahead. It's 6. It's a pick 6 because oh my gosh. I honestly, it was the first name I thought of when we brought the NFC up, and honestly, with you being a Vikings fan, I don't hear the end of it. But with my stepdaughter being a Vikings fan, I'd have never heard the end of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was easy. This was so easy.
Yeah, a 5 for 5 from start to finish.
Perfect 5 for 5. It's immaculate.
But yeah, immaculate 5 for 5. I don't think we've ever done that. I mean, if we've done it, it's been 1 or 2's been flip flopped. Yeah, or the bottom, but yeah, we've never done a 5 for 5 like that. Wow.
I guarantee you, our quarterbacks aren't even going to be 5 for 5. I'll guarantee you.
No. So, all right. So let's go to AFC quarterbacks. So, God, this is good. All right. I'm going to go 3.
Yeah, I'll say 3. 4 is a possibility, but
4 is a possibility. 5 is a possibility, but
5 is probably not going to happen unless it lasts longer than 30 seconds. But
no.
All right. 4 is a possibility. Then my number 5, where I'm kind of hoping to see what he does when he comes back. If he can last longer than 30 seconds, maybe a minute. If it's a minute, then I've wasted my number 5. My number 5 is Ron Rodgers of the New York Jets.
And the thing is it's
he's healthy. He's amazing.
Wow,
that's the thing.
And the thing is he's healthy. He plays 15 games. He'll be comeback player of the year. So that's already built.
Think about it. Joe Flacco didn't even play 15 games last year. He played 7 games and won comeback player of the year.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers is going to be a comeback player of the game or year. So
A comeback player of the game.
yeah.
He's the Willis Reed of the NFL.
My number 5, we brought up his team quite a bit today. He doesn't have to run the ball much now because of Derrick Henry, but now it's focused on his game management of passing. And if you get that down, this team is going to be scary, and that's Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens.
At number 5.
At number 5.
Oh, boy.
Your number 4.
My number 4, I kind of brought up his wide receiver earlier. This guy is healthy. He's Joe Cool, the sequel. Great, much like Joe Montana, they both have the name Joe. This team, if he's healthy, should be a perennial. It should always be in the conversation for the Super Bowl. We saw what happened last year. He got hurt, and then all of a sudden they had what seemed like the carbon copy of this guy come in. And didn't you guys have him at one point?
Case Keenum, yeah.
No, it was no Case Keenum. No, the other guy that was the backup in Cincinnati. Didn't you guys have him in your what is it? What is his name?
Oh,
But he was on your practice. He was on your training camp roster, and then he ended up going to Cincinnati, and his first game was against us, if I'm not mistaken. I'll find it. Don't worry.
yeah.
My number 4, if healthy, is a superstar quarterback. The resurgence of Joe Cool, and that is the Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow.
Okay. My number 4.
I'll look up your 2023. The 2023. Yeah.
So my number 4 is a guy who has got to do a lot. And he's the only guy that has thrown an interception to himself or his namesake, I guess you could say, and also got sacked by the same guy. Buffalo's quarterback, Josh Allen.
You're not doing me any favors. I figured you were going to – I'm like, oh, great. I get to – no, actually, you did me a favor because my number 3 is a pick 6.
All right.
Is your number 4, Josh Allen.
All right. All right, my number 3,
Jake Browning.
Yeah, we had him. Yep. My number 3 is a guy who I don't know exactly when he got hurt last year, but was in that rookie quarterback class last year, and hopefully he comes back and does some good things because if he would have played a couple years ago, I don't think Colts would have blown the 33-0 lead at halftime. I will go with Anthony Richardson.
Wow, you brought that up. You brought up the 33-0 lead. Oh no! Oh wow, you have Anthony Richardson there.
Yep.
He needs to keep his head on straight. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
My number 2 is a pick 6.
Ooh.
My number 2 is your number 5. You brought up Lamar Jackson at number 5. I went, oh my gosh, who did I miss at this point? And I double, tripled, and quadruple checked my list. I'm thinking.
My number 2 is a guy that
oh no, and I know exactly who your number 2 is at this point.
Is a guy who I don't know. I don't want to say I want to see him fail, but
I do.
But we definitely need to put him in check and stuff like that. And his dad played for my Twins.
Yeah, and I do.
But again, I mean, he started off. What's he been in the playoffs every year so far that he's been in the league outside his rookie year because he only started one game.
Did you know who was the first team he lost to? Who's the first team he lost to in the playoffs? The Colts in a comeback.
Okay. Yep. Patrick Mahomes, the magician.
I still don't think he's beat the Colts
in the regular season
ever.
I don't know. All right.
Now, I had to break in because you decided to steal my number 1.
Okay.
My number 1 is a pick 6. My
All
number
right.
one is your number two because now I know who your number one is.
My number one is the guy who I think is going to lead his team to the Super Bowl this year. He's got all the weapons in the world, and this guy stays healthy. Tim, you said it. This guy's going to have a great career ahead of him, and that's one C.J. Stroud. So, all right, let's move to the NFC.
I will promise you, our number ones are not going to be the same in this one. No. Because I thought of my number one right away as soon as you said it, and it is nothing you're going to expect.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, man, I'm going to go one. You're going three. Because I thought I threw some curveballs here.
I did.
Can't wait to hear you. Okay. So my number 5, I brought him up before, and Tim, I think you, when this kid was a rookie, I think you were a game off of when he was going to get played or start a game. I think you're a week off. All this guy has to do is manage the game, and he's going to have a great career. His team's going to be good, and that's one Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I still can't believe I got that almost right.
Yeah, I know.
My number 5 is starting to, I like this kid. I honestly, when he was a free agent, and this was like the season before we got Richardson, I was hoping that he was going to leave to come to Indy. As a matter of fact, I think on our show, I actually made a bold prediction that Bacon was going to be crying, that he was going to come to Indy, but he didn't. I like this kid. I really do. But he's starting to remind me of Tony Romo. Can't win in the playoffs, and he sure in the heck can't win against Green Bay. I like
it. But he can sure beat Minnesota.
Yeah, then stop being if you stop being a Minnesota fan, you'd be great. But my number 5 is and I deny this. We will retract this later, so nobody else hears this, including Bacon. But my number 5 is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowgirls, Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Well, my number 4 is an old face in a new place. I'm glad his contract's gone. I mean, talent-wise, I can't say I'm glad he's gone, but Atlanta's got a lot going for him if he could, come back at 90% after his injury, and that's Mr. Change himself, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, Mr. Ned Flanders himself. Cool.
Yep. Yep. You're number 3.
Have you watched? Okay, I got a question. Have you watched that Netflix series, Quarterback?
No, I have not yet.
Oh my gosh, between quarterback and receiver, they got 2 Minnesota guys on there, and it's hilarious. But he reminds me so much. He's so much like Ned Flanders. It's scary.
Yeah.
But my number 4, my sister will be extremely happy. With all the weapons that Detroit has, you kind of hope that this quarterback can do a Brock Purdy and just manage an offense. And to think 3 years ago we were calling this guy Jared God awful, and now we're talking about him as probably being the top 5 quarterback in the conference, and possibly in the Super Bowl, which is funny because his rookie year, second year, he was in the Super Bowl. But my number 4 is Jared Goff.
All right. Yep. No, yeah. I mean, we had a colleague on here that was a Rams fan and just could not stand Jared Goff, and we drove that joke down to the down. My number 3 is a pair of quarterbacks, because one is in the waiting and the other one is kind of hit or miss. But with their new receiver, with Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe this won't be a quarterback battle, but again, Kyle Murray can't stay healthy. So if Kyle Murphy stays healthy, then we probably won't see Clayton too, but I got them both at number 3. You're number 3.
My number 3, well, I'm going to stay in the division with a pick 6. My number 3 is your number 5, Brock Purdy.
Yep, and I get it. Everybody says he's overrated. Fine, be overrated, but as long
Be overrated. But be overrated, but when you're throwing to 2 all-pro wide receivers, an all-pro tight end, and an all-pro running back, you could be all overrated all you want.
Yep, exactly. That's why I said I'm taking. You know, if I'm Purdy and he's going to get paid, don't get me wrong, and we all know that. But if I'm him, I restructure my contract every year to keep that team together. You know. All right, my number 2. Speaking of a guy that got paid after 1 year of starting, which I just think is just ironic that he got paid so much. And but if he stays healthy, I mean, this team has had 3 quarterbacks since early 90s. If he plays 7 years, and that's one Jordan Love. I mean, what? I mean, just think of. I mean, how many teams would love to have 3 quarterbacks since the mid 90s, early 90s, as their main starting quarterback?
Yeah.
So.
And then you look in the 90s, the former quarterback room that was in Green Bay for a while there. You had Favre, you had Tomzak, and you had Favre, Tomzak, and McMahon. Then you had Favre, Peterson, and Tomzak. Then you had Favre, Detmer, Burnell, and then in the training camp, Warner.
Yep. Talk about quarterback tree. So you're number 2.
My number 2 is I'm still trying to figure out how he gets over the hump. You think it was it was easy to win Super Bowls if Nick Foles can win a Super Bowl and Trent Dilfer can win a Super Bowl, but yet this guy who's got all the talent in the world and literally all the talent in the world on both sides of the ball and can't win a Super Bowl. But this kid is like the millionaire version of Tua Tagovailoa, except he doesn't get concussions. But my number 2 is the quarterback from Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts.
All right. 2.
You're at 1.
Yep, I'm at 1. And we'll do the pick 6. I got sniped at number 2 there with Jalen Hurts. The Phillies are going to go as far as he takes them. Just like Dak. Dak could get him into the playoffs, but for some reason he can't get the job done. So okay. So we're curious here at number 1.
My number 1 is the reason why Goff Awful is in Detroit. Another guy who is just full of absolute monsters to throw to and to hand the ball off to. To me, if you give me Puka Nacua, you give me Cooper Kupp, you give me Kalen Williams, it's ridiculous. It's sick. It's
coming off an injury too, I think, ain't he? Or
Matthew?
Yeah.
Stafford? I don't know, but when you find out that his old college roommate slept with his girlfriend, I'd be a little angry too. But my number 1, and I'm gonna be the first guy outside of my sister that was so happy that he had won a Super Bowl. Wish he had done it in Detroit, unlike other people in the NFC North, which they never won in Detroit, which he never did. But my number 1 is the quarterback from the University of Georgia, Matthew Stafford. And again, think about that. I saw that guy 3 times a year before the NFL.
Yeah. No, that was a good one there. Stafford, yeah, he's another one, that just him and Goff, like you said, they both got traded for each other with picks and stuff, and they just had a totally different career. I mean, Stafford went to Stafford went to the
Rams
Super Bowl right away, won it.
Right.
Golf's on the verge of doing it. It's just mind-boggling.
And the funny thing is, you look at it. Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Stafford went to the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yep.
Now, Goff is going to do the exact same thing. Easily do the exact same thing Stafford just did.
Yep, exactly. So I got a list here brought to you by who do we got? It's Bleacher Report.
Our sponsor for the day?
Yeah,
Bleacher Report.
Well, this is the top. We're going to start at top 10, but they rank the top defenses going into this year.
Oh boy.
So
If San Francisco's not number one, we're in trouble.
number 10,
San Francisco, great.
the Detroit Lions.
Oh, that is way too low.
That is low. That is low.
way too low.
That defense is scary. That defense is scary.
That's way
Number
too
9,
low.
another defense I think is way too low.
Philadelphia Eagles.
The Houston Texans. I don't think they're way low, but
I think are they top 5? I don't know if they're top 5, but I think they're a couple spots low.
I don't know about this defense. Number 8, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Hell no. I don't care if they've got Max Crosby. That's about all they've got.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they should be a top 10.
I don't
Number
know.
7.
That's a question you'd have to ask James.
Yeah. Number 7. Another defense that, historically has been good, but I just don't know if they still have it. Pittsburgh Steelers.
You got what? Is Cameron Hayward still there? No, Hayward retired. You still got TJ Watt. Honestly, you're going to have like 3 years left with TJ Watt. You got Joey Porter Jr.
Yep.
No, I think that's way too high.
Number 6, the Baltimore Ravens.
6 is about right. That's about maybe the only one I can agree with on their spot.
Yep. Number 5. Nope.
Philadelphia.
You said they needed to be number 1, but they're not. Number 5, San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, who in the world? Who gave this poll and who did they ask? Kindergartners?
I don't know. Yeah, I thought they'd be higher. Number 5. I don't think this defense is this good, let alone be in the top 5. But Kansas City Chiefs.
No, because that's the other thing that confuses me. We always sit there and I don't know how many times I've listened to them like, that it's like Kansas City always seems to feed the offense, but yet they never in free agency and they never feed the defense. Nope. And it's like, no, that's way too high, too high.
This one I will agree with. If they stay healthy, can be a top 3 because that's where they're ranked at. Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, without a question.
Yeah,
I'm looking up the NFL top defenses from last year.
Yeah.
But
number 2. I don't know if this defense is this good. I mean, it's okay, but the New York Jets.
They're good.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think they're that good.
And the number 1 defense by Bleacher Report.
Let's see.
For the 2024 season.
San Diego Chargers.
They're not. The Cleveland Browns. I know. They're not bad, but they're not. Dallas should be in that top 3. Dallas should be number 1, I think.
So I'm looking at this, right? Let me find this. Can't be right.
So I got the Saints at 11, Jacksonville at 12, Patriots, who cares? Dolphins, who I thought had a good defense, at 14. I think they're a little low.
Okay. Dolphins should be higher. Yeah. That's the okay.
Buffalo's defense is actually pretty good too. They're at 17.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're gonna do we're top 10 defenses.
For last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Total defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th best defense last year was the Miami Dolphins.
Which they got them ranked at, I just said it, 14 this year, going into the season.
Okay. They got the Buffalo Bills at 9. Buffalo Bills are at 9 last year.
Which they were, I just saw them. Where did I see them at? Buffalo. Is that 17 going into this year?
The 49ers were 8th.
And we had them in the top 5, I think it was.
Top 5.
Yep.
Now you want to get here's when we start getting sick. The New England Patriots are at 7th.
14 this year going into the season.
The Ravens are at 6th.
Ravens, they're the top 10, I think.
Yeah, they were. They're like sixth.
6, yep, they're 6.
The Cowboys are
3.
fifth.
We had them. They ranked them 3rd.
The Carolina Panthers.
Didn't even see them on the list.
They were 4th.
They were 4th last year. They are going into the season this year.
28.
Keeps growing. Okay. Carolina Panthers. Titans. 29th.
I was close. The New York Jets were 3rd.
Yeah, it's 2nd in ours, or 2nd in this list.
The Kansas City Chiefs was 2nd.
They were 7th or 8th, I think. 4th. I'm sorry, they were 4th.
And the Cleveland Browns was 1st.
And Cleveland Browns weren't even in our top 10. Oh, no, they were. Yeah, they're in the top 10. Cleveland Browns were 1.
They were 1. They were 1st.
Yeah.
But then again, when you've got guys like Garrett Miles on your team, it's easy for your defense to be number 1. It's when your offense kind of sucks that you got nothing to do about it.
Yep. So with that being said, guys, show's a wrap. Tim, final thoughts?
I don't know if did you read our notifications that we might be live streaming our fantasy draft?
Yeah, we've actually done that a couple times. We've actually done a live feed fantasy draft for tomorrow. So we've done that a couple times. So.
Yeah, I look pretty at 3:00 in the morning. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. I bet your wife looks prettier.
Dude, you could. My wife will look prettier than me every day of the week.
Yeah. So with that being said, tonight possibly C2C late night. Tomorrow Sports Minute, which might turn into just a big draft coverage for fantasy football if we do a live stream. Thursday's kicking it. Hopefully we'll tie down some more details on when morning tailgate come back. If not, me and Tim might have a little midweek show to cover some football stuff in the morning. Maybe it's like a fantasy, or maybe we do a top 5 weekly roundup or something. So with that being said, keep checking us out all week long. Always something popping up. So with that being said, and check us out tomorrow, either for Sports Minute or our live draft coverage. Maybe we'll get Callan to be the MC of that and break down his picks. So with that being said, we'll see y'all next week on C2C Rankem. Have a good one.